Hi, this is Lisa Loves to Crochet and Knit. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this googly-eyed little taco with a mouth. So he's just got some lettuce and some tomato or pepper, whatever you want to call it. And he's just super simple. Googly eyes. You're going to need some googly eyes and some lips, and these are buttons. I purchased them off Amazon, and then I purchased the eyes off Amazon as well. You're going to need some brown yarn, that's a red heart, some green yarn, which is like love, something that's from Hobby Lobby, and then a little bit of red yarn. And then of course you're going to need a crochet hook, a size G, a tapestry needle, H size crochet hook, and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. What you're going to start with the brown, and I'm going to start with a magic loop, and I chain 1, and then I'm going to put 10 half double crochets with my H hook in the magic loop. So there's 4, and I'm just going to continue until I have 10, and I'll come back. Okay, so I have my 10, and I'm just going to pull that center and pull it tight, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the very first stitch. So there's my slip stitch. Gonna chain 1, and I'm gonna put 1 half double crochet in that same stitch. And then in this round is my round that I do 2 in every stitch. So the next stitch I'm going to put 2 half double crochets, and then I'm going to keep going in the first 6 stitches, and that includes here. This first stitch I count that as 2, and then this is 2. And so I'm going to have 12 when I stop. So that means in the first 6 stitches, I'm going to make my first 12 stitches. So I'm just going to continue to put 2 stitches in every stitch until when I hit the 6th stitch, I'll come back. Okay, so I've got my 12 stitches in. And so now I'm going to attach the googly eyes. And so I'm going to take my googly eyes and I'm going to lay it face down with the little loop part towards where I'm going to crochet around and make that loop, and I'm going to do my 2 half double crochets in that stitch. There's 1, and I'm going to put another. So I'm just going to repeat the same pattern, but I'm going to repeat it around that. So the next stitch is over here, and I'm going to put 2 half double crochets in it. So there's that one, and then I'm going to do 1 more. And you're just going to have to, it's a tight fit, it'll be fine. So there's another one, and then here's my, so there is my googly eyes, they're supported now. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 half double crochets. On the other side of the googly eyes, and then I'm going to count my stitches. I want them to lay flat, and so I want to make sure I have enough stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I want 22 in total, so I'm just going to put 2 more in this next stitch. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning. And then I'm going to chain 1. And now this round, I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in that same stitch. and then I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in the next, and then I'm going to put 2 in the next stitch, and then 1 goes in the next. So I'm going to repeat the pattern of 2 in one stitch and 1 in the next. So you're only increasing every other stitch. And so I'm going to do that until I reach the eyes. So you're just going to continue to do that pattern all the way up until you hit the eyes, and I'll come back. Okay, so I've counted my stitches and I have 20 up until the googly eyes. So now I'm going to do, so I've got repeated that pattern. I'm still going to continue that pattern around the googly eyes, and I'm going to put a slip stitch, well, it's actually a half double crochet, I'm sorry, around the googly eyes into the back. So let me show you what I did again. I'm going to do a half double crochet, so I wrap it around my hook and I go around the googly eyed post into that stitch directly behind, pull up a loop, and I have my 3 loops on my hook, and I pull it to the back, and then I complete it and pull through all 3, and that like supports the googly eyes. And then there's 1 stitch back there, and I'm going to put 2 half double crochets in, and it's just behind the googly eyes. And then there's another 1 stitch, and you're just going to put 1. You're still going to follow that pattern. And so now I'm to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the yarn around my hook and insert it into the stitch. Pull the yarn from the front, and I'm going to complete it in the back. You can see I pulled it. It's really hard to show you that. So I completed it in the back behind the eye. And then in that same stitch, it's going to be hard to finesse yourself to get it in there. You're going to put 1 more half double crochet, and then you're going to do 1 in the next. So you wrapped to recap how to do on this side of the eye is I put a loop on my hook, and then I inserted it into the stitch, and then I completed the stitch around, from pulling the yarn around that to the back. So I know it is kind of confusing, but that's why I wanted to recap that. And then I'm just going to continue with this pattern, 1 half double crochet in 1 stitch and 2 in the next. And then now I'm going to go through, and I should have 32 stitches. So when you double check and you're all set, you just slip stitch the beginning, and then you chain 1, and I leave a little bit of a tail, and I pull up and make that a loop, and then it makes it a knot. So my taco is basically done. Now I'm gonna knot, pull this tight, knot it, and weave in my ends and come back. Okay, now I have my googly eyes attached to the little burrito part of the taco. I'm gonna fold it in half to see where my eyes match up so it's even. And so this is where I'm gonna start. You're just gonna have to make it, eyeball it to make it even, and I'm gonna start the lettuce, whoops, down here, working in the back loop and the 3rd loop, which is called the one underneath. And I'm going to start that with the green. So I started with a slip knot, and I just tighten it on my crochet hook, and then so you fold it over like a burrito, just like you would like a taco. And I'm going to grab this very corner, you can see it's the very bottom, and the loop underneath. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to weave crochet over my end so I don't have much to weave in later. I'm going to attach with a single crochet, And then in the next stitch, you're not skipping stitches like you normally would with shells, because it just won't work. And then in the same 2 loops, the back loop and the 3rd loop, I'm going to do 3 double crochets in that stitch. So there's my 3 double crochets, and then in the next stitch and the one behind it, the 3rd loop, I'm going to do a single crochet as well. So there is my first little lettuce, little wave, little bunch, and I'm just going to continue with that pattern. So I have a single crochet, and then now I'm going to do 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So you're always going in one stitch and then to the next. You're not skipping any stitches for like a normal shell. So now I have my 3 double crochets in that same stitch, and the next stitch I'm just going to do a single crochet. The next stitch I'm going to do 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So you're always working in those 2 loops across the back. So when I get, remember, you're only going to do half of him. So when I get to the bottom part on the other side, which I should just put a little stitch marker, but I'm gonna until I get to here, and I'll come back. Okay, so he looks kind of funny, but so I've done all those little scallops all around, and I'm to the end, and I'm gonna chain 1, cut my working yarn, pull up, and make that a knot. And then I'll just weave in those 2 green ones, and I still have my brown. I have not cut that one. So what I do is I just start by attaching my red first, and what I do with my red is so I'm going to hold off on weaving in those ends yet, so you can see what I do to complete. I start with a slip knot, and I attach it to my crochet hook, and I turn it to the back, and I just pick, you know, like I might go in that one, or maybe in that one. I go in between the little, and I just pull up a couple of the back loops like that. And what I do to attach it is I just pull up a single crochet, and I chain 1, and then I grab another 2 back loops, and I single crochet again, and then I chain 1, and then I cut. And so I just leave my little tomatoes or peppers, whatever you want to call it, in there. So I'm just going to make a few around here. I might do every 2 or something, just so there's a few. They can be an odd number, and so I just make another slip knot, and then I'm going to skip this one, and I'm just going to go into this one, so I can have just an odd number. So I'll come back when I've completed a few of those, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here is my taco so far. I've weaved in my ends, and I put 5 little peppers or tomatoes or whatever you want to call them back there, and I'm just going to fold up the back, and I'm going to thread the end of my brown tapestry, my tapestry knit with a brown yarn, and I'm going to fold this up so you can see that the taco is going to come to life this way. So I'm just going to start, I'm going to weave this down so it's at the very bottom corner of the taco, and so I'm not cutting the yarn again. And so basically what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go back in, And I'm going to go through from the front and the back. From the back to the front. And I'm just going to tighten that. And then I'm going to go into the front and through the back. So I'm just securing it every other stitch, or every stitch, but I'm just doing in the top one side of that loop of the brown. So you can see that it's going to stay secure. So I'm just going to continue to tighten that, and when I'm done I'll come back. Okay, so here is my taco so far, and I'm just going to, I've completed that, so now I'm just going to weave in my ends. I'm going to put it back here, so I'm just going to pull it back to the back and have it weaved in back here with all those stitches back here, and then no one will know. And then you'll just give that a little snip with the scissors. And then now all you need to do is take your hot glue gun and add a little hot glue where you're going to put your little mouth. And if you make a mess, that's okay, it's just a taco. So there is my little tacos. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe.